Jai Hind everyone. Myself Deepthi Arora, Assistant Professor from MC Department, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. So today's topic is routing protocols for IoT, that is AODV. AODV stands for Advanced On-Demand Distance Vector Routing Protocol. So let's see what is in this ad hoc on-demand distance vector routing protocol. This protocol is a we can say a upper version of distance vector routing protocol that we have studied in networking subject. So it is used in Internet of Things, in which we are having different devices connected to the internet, and we want to distribute the messages or data from one device to another, and those devices are in huge amount or in small quantity that have particular network bandwidth, small network bandwidth, and they want the data from one device to another device. So what is ad hoc on-demand distance vector routing? In this, AODV computes a loop-free single path on demand. That is, when the device demands the data, it identifies the route that is loop-free and sends the messages. How? A mobile node here means that is not a stationary node. In IoT, we are having different devices that are portable devices. So they are not having a fixed location. So they are mobile devices or portable devices. So a mobile node discovers and maintains a route to another node only when it needs to communicate. So it never maintains a particular route from one node to another, because the devices are mobile, they are portable. So whenever it needs to connect from one device to another device, there is a need to connect. So what it does, it identifies a it identifies a route on the basis of their demand, on what time, particular time, on what kind of message it want to deliver. So on that basis, it discovers the node and then creates a route from one node to another node. So one observation of AODV is that the source actually discover multiple paths from one node to another. There may be multiple paths during the route discovery process. It chooses only the best routes and discard the rest. So whenever it needs to communicate from one node to another, it discover multiple paths from one node to another. What it actually does, it find out multiple paths, then it select the best route from one node to another and discards the rest of the path. Also, it frequently breaks cause the intermediate node to drop packet because no alternate path to the destination is possible. If it finds only a single path from one node to another, then there may be possibility that there may be frequent breakouts, because the nodes are mobile. They are from one place to another place, they are moving. So it may be a possibility that route that it finds may broke multiple times. So what it does, it transfers the data between the intermediary nodes so that there is no alternate path if it possible. That means if there is a node and it want to send the data to B node, both are the mobile nodes. So what it does, if there is a single path between them, so it finds multiple nodes between them to deliver the data. So there may be a less possibility for the data to get missed or dropped. So this reduces the overall throughput and packet delivery ratio, which includes the rate of throughput. That means the transfer of data from A device to B device gets easily delivered, and the packet delivery ratio, that means no packet got dropped. So because intermediate nodes are between them that are delivering the data, so there is a less chance so that packet may get missed. So there is a high mobility scenario, the average end-to-end delay can be significantly high due to frequent route discoveries. If there is a large distance from A to B, then there may be much intermediary nodes. So if there are much intermediary nodes, then there will be a possibility of missing of that packet. When the route failure occurs, the process of route discovery has to begin from scratch, consuming more network resources and more overhead. If in between there is a failure, route failure is there. So what you have to do, it will not start from this side, it will start from a scratch and then finds out the another some route and then transfer that packet from that route. So for that there will be more resources required, more overhead will be there because in between the data is missed. So what it has to do, again it has to start from its scratch, again it has to find number of routes, then choose the best one. That means more resources are required and more overhead will be there. But it avoids the count to infinity problem. So in distance vector routing protocol, we have find out there is a count to infinity problem in which there is a loop. But we have already said that this is a loop free protocol. So the count to infinity problem is not here. So to avoid this count to infinity problem, what it does, it generates a 3 types of messages. First one is route request message, then route reply message and route error messages. So the message to find a route is route request message are used to initiate the route finding process, then route reply messages are used to finalize the route, and then route error messages are used to modify the network in case there is a link breakage of active route. So AODV protocol used only 2 endpoints, do not have a valid active route to each other. If we are having 2 active points, that is a source A and destination B, we particularly call the destination sync node and this one is known as source node, and we want to connect from A to B. So to find the valid active route, we use this AODV protocol. So node keeps a precursor list that contains the IP address of each of its neighbors that are likely used to use it to find a next hop in the routing table. So if there is an intermediate node between A to B, what it does, the routing table, the nodes, these nodes maintain a precursor list in which there is a list of next hop. There is a list which next hop it connects. So it connects to this, it connects to this. So it contains, so this hop, particular hop contains a preprocessor list for its neighboring nodes. So route table information must be kept for all the routes, for even short-lived routes. Short-lived routes, that means the routes that are not particularly for a major goal of time. Those routes are for small routes, these are. So the routing table fields used by AODV are, what routing tables include? That means that is the precursor list that routing table includes. That list includes destination IP address, destination sequence number, valid destination sequence number flag, other state and routing flags, network interface, hop count, next hop, list of precursor and the lifetime of a route. So all these things contained in a routing table. How it works, how the AODV works, let's see from here. Suppose we are having a source node A and A wants to send a data to the sync node E. Sync node is the destination, source node is the main node that wants to send a data from A to E. And B, C, D are intermediate node. So it has find out the route which is the best route. How it will find out? Node A wants to send a message to node E. What is this? A valid route must be created between A and E. The node A generates a route request message with initial time to live of 1 and broadcast it to its neighbor. So A will generate a route request message. It will generate a route request message. With that request message packet is a time to live is 1. That is, it can be a 1 minute, it could be a 1 second. What it could be? It could be a time to live of that packet. So it sends to its neighboring node. Here we can see that there is only one neighboring node, that is B. So it sends a route request message to B. The message contain among other item node A IP address and IP address of node E. That means this packet contains route request message contains the IP address of A and IP address of E, that is of source address, and to which it wants to deliver this packet. So it wants to send the packet to E, so it contains the IP address of E. If the node B has an active route to E, if the node B has an active route up to E, then B will send the request message, route reply message back to the node A. So what B will do, it is having a valid route to E. We are able to see that it is having a valid route to E. So what it will send? It will send a route reply message back to A, that it is having a valid route to E. And what it does next? It sends the route request message again to its neighboring node with a time to live of 1. So what A will do, after receiving a route reply message, A sets a special flag in the route request message. Node B will send a gratuitous route reply message to node E, that it will forward that message. This will be necessary if node B will need to send a message back to APP, that is TCP connection. Route reply messages are unicast to the next hop towards the originator and destination, a gratuitous route reply message. That is, route reply messages will forward in this way, and route reply messages will forward in particular gratuitous manner in which the route request message is forwarding. So if A does not read a route reply message within a certain time, it will rebroadcast the route request message with an incremented time to live value. And that means if this route request message is going on, if the within a particular period of time route reply messages does not received by A, then it will again regenerate the route request message. Now this time the time to live will be 2, that is incremented by 1. So default increment is 2. Reverse routes to the originator, in the case node A are created, a route request messages are forwarded. So active route is established when A receives a route reply message. This behavior, incrementing of time to live, keeps network utilization down. So how it maintains the sequence number? The proper maintenance of sequence number is crucial to keep AODV loop free and thereby avoiding the count to infinity problem. So what to avoid the count to infinity problem? It maintains the sequence number for each message. So forwarding nodes only update their stored sequence number for a given destination when forwarding a route reply message. That means what it maintains? The sequence number in the routing table is invalid or not. The sequence number in the route reply message is greater than the stored number, or the sequence number are identical. That means they are identical. If they are not identical, that means there is no duplicate packet. The sequence numbers are the same, but the hop count is smaller for the route reply messages. If any of these particular condition holds, then what there will be? There could be a count to infinity problem. If any of these conditions doesn't hold, then there will be no count to infinity problem. So node originating route request message must increment their own sequence number before transmitting the route reply request. Then destination node increment their sequence number when the sequence number in the route request is equal to the stored number. At a particular amount of time, they increment their sequence numbers depending upon the route request and route reply request. So if there are link breaks, how it maintain the link? Nodes keep track of connectivity because nodes are mobile. So it keep track of their intermediate neighbors and their available data link or network layers mechanism. So for route reply, if there is a link, then link breakage, then we are having route recover or route error message. So route error messages are processing is initiated when node detects a link break for the next hop of an active node, receives a data packet destined for a node for which it has no active route, or receives a request error message from a neighbor for at least one active route in its routing table. So for 3 times in these 3 scenarios, the route error message is generated, which shows there if there is a link breakage in between them, then these error messages will come to the neighboring nodes. So node must increment the destination sequence number of the routing entries contained in the root error message before transmitting to the node in precursor list. So what does it do? It generates a message which is having larger routing entries and root request message and increment that value. So node receiving root error message simply update their sequence number with those contained in root error message. What it does, it maintain their sequence number. What could be the sequence number? It update those sequence number with their root error messages so that the time to live would be incremented by 1 or 2 times. So node must also mark their root entries as invalid regardless of whether they are transmitting or receiving. So what node does? They mark these routing entries as invalid entries regardless whether they are transmitting or receiving the data. If they got the error message, they stopped passing those data to particular intermediate nodes and marked it as invalid. This ensures that no predecessor may reply to root required request and to the successor path, because there is a loop if it generates a false message, false request, and root request message are ultimately forwarded back to the originator and may initiate another root request messages. So no root request messages will be there, root request messages will get stopped and they are forwarded back to the originator, that is the source node. How to if there is a link breakage, how the repairs are done? Nodes detecting a link breakage can choose to repair the link if possible. If there is a possibility of link repairing, then nodes may choose the time so that they get repaired. The node simply increment the destination sequence number and broadcast a root request message. The nodes, what will be do? If they are having a precursor list maintained, then they increment the value of that packet and then pass it to next neighboring node. If it receives a root reply message, then the repair was successful. If it finds out that it receives a root reply message, then repair has done. If not, then repair has not done. So this is all about the AODV protocol, how the data passes from one node to another in a mobile nodes. So this protocol is used. Thank you.